going to do longer introductions because the time segment's quite tight, and I'd like you to have most time with the speaker. But next up now, we've got John Howell who's going to talk about the portable X-ray enhancements with dual energy. Close to my heart as a former Comtech, so looking forward to seeing how this goes. So give me your full attention, please.
Hi, can you guys hear me? All right, perfect. All right, again, my name is John Howell. I'm a former U.S. Marine bomb technician. I currently work for a company called Visi Consult, VC Security, out of Stückelsdorf, Germany. We provide portable EOD X-ray solutions to bomb technicians. In today's period of instruction, it's going to be on EOD portable X-ray enhancements using dual energy imaging. So what are we using now? If you look at and try to evaluate what's happening when a bomb technician is called to the scene, they're going to use a portable X-ray technology that's typically going to be what we call a pulse generator system. Now this is a portable system. This is a portable X-ray that looks just like this. They'll take this down along with a panel, and they'll place the panel behind the device, and they'll use this X-ray generator to shoot in the device to develop an X-ray image. This is all done wirelessly, so the image is sent back to the bomb tech so he can evaluate it and try to figure out what he has. And the whole goal behind that is to develop what we call a render-safe procedure. So we'll go into a little bit more detail about that in regards to the image and what type of information this technology is capturing. So these generators are a single source of energy, or single energy source when they're fired at the panel. And it sends back to them information based on the amount of absorption of the X-ray energy by the package, and it comes back in what we call grayscale. In layman's term, it's black and white. So it's black and white image comes back to them, and they're able to look at that image, and based on the shapes of the items inside of that image, they do what we call shape recognition. I see a set of car keys. I see a cell phone. All of this stuff is just shape recognition, and this is how grayscale works. Now with grayscale, if it's darker, that means sort of that it's a more dense item. Basically what it's telling you, there was more material there, it was a denser material, and it's absorbed more of the X-ray energy, okay? We'll get into that a little bit later. So this is basically the standard EOD method for viewing X-ray images. It provides shape recognition so they can look at this and figure out that I see batteries. Now bomb technicians again are trained to identify IED components in a circuit. They're trained to identify all the parts and pieces of an IED. So once they start looking at this, they're able to do X-ray interpretation and one, verify I have in fact an improvised explosive device. But more importantly, what the bomb tech is trying to do at this point is once he verifies he has an IED, he's developing what we call a render-safe procedure. He's going to try to make this improvised explosive device safe. Now in this scenario, I can see all the parts and pieces of the bomb. It's all laid out nice and neat. Everything's separated. There's the battery, there's the PIR, there's the circuit board, there's the detonator, there's the explosives. You've got the same thing right here. It's all in a position that's perfect, easy to figure out, not a problem. There's one problem with this. This, what you're looking at, is not reality. This is not what a bomb technician sees when he goes downrange. When you go and look at X-ray images online, or you go to manufacturers of X-ray equipment, this is what they're going to show you. This is an easy problem to solve, but this is not the reality of what a bomb technician sees when he goes downrange and he takes an X-ray image. And we're going to show you some examples of that. So in this scenario, grayscale works perfectly. It's the perfect tool, it's the perfect solution. So again, it's all about component recognition. Now we're going to start giving you some examples of what happens when I place this X-ray generator next to the package. That angle that it's shooting and however that item is inside of the bag is the orientation that I'm going to see that item. It's not always going to be in an orientation where I can look at it and go, oh, that's a battery. You may get it in an orientation that it's not able to figure out what it is. And that's more common than being able to see it in this orientation and be able to say that's a battery. But this is a very complex process for a bomb technician, and they have to be well trained to be able to pick out all these different types of components in an X-ray image at all of the different orientations it can possibly be in. The truth is, and the reality is even though I shoot an X-ray, and I'm highly trained on identifying these, if it's at an orientation that's very difficult to interpret, I'm probably going to have to shoot another X-ray and get a better image of that item to figure out what it is. So what are the drawbacks of using single energy imaging for EOD? I've talked about a little bit of them. The biggest problem is how we're training. I see this in training aids that bomb technicians use to train themselves all the time. This is the problem. We call this a component-based improvised explosive device. The battery, the wire, the switch, the detonator explosive are all laid out nice and neat, and they're separated. This makes the render-safe procedure and X-ray interpretation extremely easy. This is not reality. When you train like this, you are setting yourself up for complete failure when the airport calls you and says, hey, we think we got a bomb in the bag. When that happens, it is not going to look like this. There's going to be clutter everywhere, and that's where Grayscale starts using its ability to provide you the information you need to solve the problem. As long as the IED's like this, there's no clutter, everything's nice and neat and laid out, Grayscale works perfectly. And as long as you keep training like this, you're going to think that Grayscale is the solution to my problem. All right? That's not what IEDs look like. Hypothetical scenario, airport security screening bags at the airport checkpoint think they found a bomb. Who are they going to call? Bomb tech. What is that bag at the airport going to look like? Is it going to be all nice and neat and laid out, or is it going to have just all kinds of clutter and everything else inside of it? Now think about when they run a bag through the X-ray machine. They take it, they lay it down flat, don't they? The X-ray generator that shoots the X-ray on the X-ray machine is shooting it from the bottom up, so you're getting the perfect orientation of that bag to do X-ray interpretation. The airport screener is. But when the bomb tech comes there, is he going to be able to take that and stand that bag up and then place his generator to shoot at that same angle? No, he's going to be shooting it at its long axis at an extremely difficult angle to try to figure out what it is. So when I go to X-ray trainings and I see this suitcase standing up and they're shooting an X-ray at it, I am laughing at you because that is not reality. That's not how you should be training. So the bomb tech shows up and this is what he gets. He's looking at a very cluttered image. It's a complex image. There's a lot of stuff going on here. And if he was training like I showed you earlier, he's going to be sitting there going, scratching his head going, whoa, what is this? In this scenario, I guarantee you he's going to have to go back downrange and X-ray the package again at a different angle, trying to figure out what he's dealing with. This is where Grayscale stops being the tool that you need. If you have a device all laid out nice and neat, works perfect. This scenario, Grayscale stops working. So let's show you some other scenarios. Where is the IED in this package? Anybody see it? We got any bomb techs out there? Where is each IED component? How would I render this safe? Where is the explosive and detonator? This is reality. This is the problem that the bomb technician needs to solve when he's downrange, and the tool that we're trying to solve it with currently is Grayscale. Again, as long as you're training where everything's laid out nice and neat, very simplistic, Grayscale works. But in this scenario, Grayscale is no longer providing you the information you need to solve the problem. Now, because I built these, I can tell you that these wires are associated to the IED. I can tell you that this material right here is the actual explosive charge. It's potassium perchlorate. I can also tell you that this guy right here is what we call an SCR, silicon rectifier. The rest of it gets pretty difficult. Right here are your power source or your batteries built into it. Can anybody see the detonator? Lead azide is one of the most common components inside of a detonator. Lead azide blocks X-ray. It will show up as a very dark black mass inside of a detonator. There is your detonator, all right? Now the only reason I was able to do this is because I built this device. Imagine you downrange trying to figure out this scenario in Grayscale with this amount of clutter and trying to find all those different items inside there. There's got to be a better way to do this. There's got to be a better tool to allow the bomb technician to realistically deal with a problem like this. Grayscale works great when you train like this. You can have no problems here. But when you do this, it stops working. And when you encounter this, and you've been training like this, you are absolutely not prepared to solve this problem. You have to train just like the battle's going to go. If the IEDs are going to be in a configuration like this, this is how you have to train. Stop doing this, okay? And stop putting them at angles where you can see everything perfectly. But we've always done it this way. And this is one of the problems of human nature. It's just the nature of the beast. And change is typically hard. Why are the airports not using grayscale, black and white, if everybody else is using, the bomb techs are using black and white, we're supposed to be the experts, or why are the airports using color? Does anybody know why? Do they know something we don't? They do know something we don't. So they figured out right away that in these cluttered bags, grayscale does not provide them the information they need to figure this out. Airport screeners every day are dealing with complex cluttered bags, and they are looking for guns, bombs, and knives. If they find a bomb, they're calling the bomb tech. So they figured out a long time ago that they have to use what we call material discrimination or dual energy imaging. So with portable systems like I showed you, they now have the capability to provide what we call dual energy imaging. And they do it with this module attached right to the front. This provides them the capability to not only have the single energy, grayscale imaging, but also dual energy, and they can do what we call material discrimination. And I'll explain that a little bit better for you. But a material discrimination allows them to get more information on what they're seeing over grayscale. More information. You cannot get more information with the current grayscale system. You can only get it by going to the next step, which is dual energy, which every airport does. So, in the aviation world, they have done study after study after study, and they've done studies to verify if a person's using grayscale versus a person using color, material discrimination to find IEDs, which one works better? Which one works better? Material discrimination. Every single study, I can send you the results from these, have been done. They know that this works better. Here's another one, original image versus grayscale. It wins every single time. Why do the bomb techs not know this? Why do the bomb techs not in the bomb tech industry haven't rationalized that this is a capability? They're lagging behind. The technology has moved forward. The bomb techs have stayed in the 1950s. So why is EOD still just using single energy X-ray imaging? We're stubborn. Change is hard. They don't know about this. They don't understand it. There's a lot of reasons on why this is going on. I put this on LinkedIn a little bit. I like to make jokes. So the little girl saying, "But Daddy, the neighbor's TV is in color." The bomb tech's going, "Shut your pie, old Sally, color TV is just a given." I have talked to bomb technicians about material discrimination, and they have sat there and told me, "Oh, that's just organic detection." As soon as you say to me, it's organic detection, I know you do not understand it, even in the simplest terms, okay? But the future is dual energy. How is this going to help us and make it better? How am I doing my time? Material discrimination takes time to learn. Now, your airport screeners are trained on this religiously, so they understand it. So when they start looking at images, they already understand what the colors mean. Right now, the bomb techs do not understand what those colors mean. They have no idea. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different items here. Shape recognition is how the human mind is going to process this. So basically, looking at this X-ray image, how many of you, based on shape recognition, can identify all the items you see here? Do we know what this is? Nope. Do we know what that is? Nope. Do you know what this is? Nope. Do we know what that is? Looks like a bottle of some liquid, right? Shape recognition. Pair of pliers. Shape recognition. Is that a tube of toothpaste? Maybe? Kind of shape? What does material discrimination tell me? So this is in black and white, only shape recognition. Over here, I know that's an organic material. Organic materials turn orange. Green is mid-range mixed materials or inorganic materials. Blue is metals. Toothpaste, and I know this because a TSA screener would know this too, toothpaste does not turn green. So that it's not toothpaste. That's caulk, okay? You call it a masking tube, I think here in the UK. Is it a masking tube? Caulk? You put it in seams. It's not toothpaste. But you'd never know that from the grayscale image. I'm going to give you a ton more examples. So what is material discrimination? Go back to when you were in high school and they showed you the periodic table. The upper left-hand corner of that chart has a number. This is called the atomic number. So when you take a chemical mixture like C4, C4 is a chemical formula. You take that and you do what we call the average of the effective atomic number, you come up with a number. C4 is actually 7.1. 7.1 is C4's average effective atomic number. It has a density, depending on the mixture, of about 1.5 to 1.6, just depends. This is C4. This is water. Okay? Both of them are going to turn orange because both of them fall within the 0 to 10 average effective atomic number range. Talk a little bit more about this. This has a higher average effective atomic number, so it's in the next level. And then on top of that is blue, metals. Anything that turns blue is going to be a metal. I have this conversation with an airport screener, they totally understand what I'm saying. I have this conversation with a bomb tech, they do not understand what I'm saying because this is completely foreign to them. They've always used black and white. What are the advantages of dual energy imaging? We kind of went over this. The more information I get from dual energy is adding to this grayscale image. So even though it's telling me this is organic, this is mid-range, this is organic, this is a bottle of liquid and it's organic, that's metal, that's not a tube of toothpaste. You can see in just this one example that dual energy imaging is providing you more information on top of grayscale. This is just one example. C4, aluminum rod, this is wood, which is a lower Z material, so it shows up in a lighter color orange, the water, the metal, and the toothpaste. And this is basically how material discrimination works. So you take this toolbox, we've got a lot of things going on inside this toolbox. Shape recognition is going to tell us what a lot of these things are, but not everything in there is going to be able to be identified very easily. That's where material discrimination comes into play. So as a bomb technician, my job from this X-ray image is to figure out a render-safe procedure. You cannot shoot your disruption tool into the explosive material. It is imperative as a bomb tech that they understand and know where that explosive material is in the X-ray image. You will not get that information from grayscale. In this, I now know where all of the organic material is. Now, is it telling me it's specifically an explosive? No, it's not telling me it's specific and explosive. It's telling me it's organic. But it's also telling me and giving me more information that I would never have gotten if I'd used just grayscale. No bleed out. I don't know if you guys know what bleed out is, but with these systems, we shoot pulses. The more pulses I shoot, the more penetration I'm going to get on that package. Some packages may be made of material that require more pulses to get through it. When you do this, those low Z materials, explosives, will start bleeding out. The higher the pulses to go, the lower density and lower Z materials will start vanishing in your X-ray image. And I'm going to show you an example of this. So this is a low number of pulses, a little bit more pulses. You see how it's starting to fade? You start shooting higher pulses, and some of the lower density materials disappear in your X-ray image. Now, if that's an explosive, and I'm targeting something that's in that same area, and I fire my disruptor against that item I'm targeting, and the explosives is there, but I bled it out because I shot too many pulses, it is going to explode. Dual energy, this does not happen. You will always be able to see where that organic mass of material is. So that's another example of where dual energy can help the bomb tech on top of what you typically see with just grayscale. It doesn't give you the same amount of information. Here's another perfect example of bleed out. Now let's look at this from a render safe perspective. I want to get a better image. I shoot too many pulses. The explosives are now gone. Okay? So I shoot at one of these components, I'm also hitting the explosives. You cannot do this. Only with dual energy can you always locate and know where those organic materials are located. Just another example. Metal detection. Material discrimination is a metal detector for you. So anything that's made out of metal is going to show up in blue in that X-ray image. Plain and simple. Just because something turns a dark color, as you see this has turned a dark color, doesn't necessarily mean it's a metal in grayscale. I can take and stack materials up to enough level that I'll get the same amount of absorption from a non-metallic item. So just because you see a dark item in grayscale does not mean it's metal. If you see it turn blue in dual energy, it's made of metal. Plain and simple, okay? More information to you. Now all those components in an IED, the batteries, the wires, the switches, what are they made out of? Metal. So if I want to try to locate all these components, I can just go to dual energy, and anything that turns blue is going to have a high potential of telling me where these IED components are located, especially the power sources. They're going to stand out. Grayscale, it's not telling me that. So I get this image of a battery. I'm thinking, is it the battery? Remember, everything's not going to be laid out perfectly where you can tell what it is based on shape. I switch over to dual energy, it turns blue. Not only am I thinking maybe it's a battery shape, but I'm also getting the blue color telling me it's metal. More information. You don't get this information from grayscale, you get it from dual energy. IED components, these are a whole bunch of switches. They all turn blue. Here's another example. In this example, we can see the explosives very clearly. It's all making sense. The detonator's inserted to explosives. I can develop an RSP very easily. But what do terrorists love to do with their IEDs? And I never see this in training aids. I never see this in training aids. They put very nice, neat layers of fragmentation attached directly to the explosives. Okay? This is exactly how you'll see it. Adding insult to injury, this would be attached to it too. It's called a holistic IED. It's all combined into one. And if I were to do this in grayscale, I would never see that explosive material, but I can see the orange attached to it. It's making sense to me. I got frag. There's potentially explosives behind it. More information. Detonators and initiators. Probably never see this, but except here. What's in the end of a detonator? PDTN or RDX. It's an organic material, it turns orange. You'll only see this with dual energy. This is a training detonator. It's empty. There's no PDTN or RDX. This is real. This one's actually filled with potassium chlorate. It's a flash bulb that's been turned into an initiator. Dual energy gives you this information. Grayscale does not give you this information. And there are your examples. 5 minutes. All right, pipe bombs. I got to speed up on you. I always see people putting pipe bombs on their X-ray, advertising pipe bombs. First off, if you're going to show me how good your X-ray machine is, fill the pipe bomb with an actual gunpowder simulant. Don't X-ray an empty pipe bomb. All right? That's the first thing. This is a full pipe bomb that's been filled with black powder, okay? And we're showing that you can actually image the components inside of the device. This is a PVC pipe bomb. Now, depending on the number of pulses you shoot at that, you may or may not be able to tell the difference that it's PVC or pipe. You probably will, but if you shoot a low number of pulses, they both might show up in a very dark color. In material discrimination, bam, you'll know right away. PVC turns green in material discrimination. The metal pipe's going to turn blue, of course, but I got this orange color going on the inside of this pipe. What is that telling you? That's smokeless powder. Smokeless powders, whether it's a double base, single base, smokeless powder, all turn orange. Black powders turn green. That's one of the few explosives out there that turn green. So from a forensics perspective, I have now got information on whether I'm dealing with a black powder or I'm dealing with a smokeless powder, and you would never get this information from grayscale. This class that I typically teach is an 8-hour class on material discrimination, okay? And I'm giving you guys a 30-minute presentation on this just to give you some very small examples on how this stuff works. Peeling. This is from our X-ray system. We're actually able to peel this metal pipe and pull away. You can do this only with dual energy. You can only do this with dual energy. We peeled away to show that this pipe is empty. We peeled away on this metal pipe to show you that it's filled with smokeless powder. We peeled away on this pipe to show you it's filled with black powder. Only with dual energy can you actually do this. Explosives, most all of them turn orange, some of them actually turn green. Clay turns green. How many of you guys like using clay in your training aids? That's fine, use clay all you want as long as you're doing grayscale, but do not take that IED to the airport and show it to them. I've had too many airport screeners tell me, yeah, C4 turns green. No, it doesn't. Clay turns green, C4 turns orange. Dual energy has the ability to potentially automatically detect the explosive material based on its density and ZEV. I'm not going to go into this, it's very technical, but this is something they do with cabinet systems and CT systems. The same thing can be done on a portable system, it's just a lot harder to do that. So we can actually potentially differentiate the explosives materials from not going to be 100% accurate, but when you look at it from a bomb technician's perspective, a cluttered background, he has potentially many different organic items in there. If we can differentiate some of those organic items as not being in the range where we would see explosives, that is a benefit to the bomb technician. In grayscale, you can't do that. You can potentially do this with material discrimination. So on a density and average effective atomic number scale, all these things show up in specific windows. You can actually make the system to automatically tell you or highlight items that show up in specific windows where you want to look. This is something we're planning on doing with our system. So again, here's the scenario, the same X-ray image I showed you before. We're now seeing the items that are not potentially explosives materials based on their density and Z, and then we're highlighting the items that are potentially explosives based on their density and Z. It will have a false alarm rate, but again, it's providing you more information that you didn't have before, and you can also do it with flammables. So there's a scenario, we take an X-ray of a bag, the software would go in there using dual energy and be able to tell you that this material, not this one, is in the range where we potentially see explosives. You cannot do this with grayscale. It won't even tell you that it's an organic material in grayscale. More examples, it just provides more information.